In the emptiness of the endless halls, there was Eru, the One, and from his thoughts came into being the Ainur. And as he spoke to them, themes of music came to be. Each of the Ainur learning different parts of his theme. But for a long while they sang, each alone, or but a few together. And while they continued to sing and listen, the Ainur come to understand, and their song increased in unison and harmony.
Eru then declared to them a mighty theme, and this theme rang through the endless halls and passed into the void. The echoes of the story left the Ainur silent, but Eru said to them, now they must add their own unique sounds to the great music, born from their thoughts and visions. So it came to pass that the voices of the Ainur likened to harps and lutes and pipes and trumpets and violins and organs. And like unto countless choirs singing with words, the Ainur began to fashion the theme of Eru into great music, and the sound arose of endless interchanging melodies woven in harmony that passed beyond hearing into the depths and into the heights, and the places of the dwelling of LOTR were filled with the music, and the echoes of the sound went into the void.
As Eru marveled at the music of his children, he saw no flaws. Then Melkor interweaved matters of his own imagining that were not in accord with the theme of Eru. In Melkor's heart grew a dissident desire for power and glory. He was granted the greatest of power and knowledge, yet he sought the imperishable flame in the void, and doing so, found that being alone, he had begun to conceive thoughts of his own unlike those of his brethren. Some of these thoughts he now wove into his music, and straightway discord arose about him. And those that heard his disharmony grew despondent, and their thoughts were disturbed, and their music faltered, and the Ainur began to attune their voices to his.
Eru sat in contemplation of the harmony as the sounds around him erupted into a raging storm created by the disharmony, as of the dark waters that made war one upon another in an endless wrath. Eru stood Smiling and lifting his left hand, a new theme began amid the raging disharmony, and it grew and found a new beauty.
But Melkor's discord again rose in uproar and contended with it, and turned the harmony into chaos and violence. Many Ainur stopped, and in sorrow sang no longer.
Eru again rose sternly. He lifted his right hand, and behold, a third theme grew amid the confusion, and it was unlike the others. At first, being soft and sweet, rippling through the timeless halls and into the void, echoing back stronger than before, and the two themes progressed as one, yet not as one, in harmony but in discord. The one was deep and wide and beautiful, but slow and blended with an immeasurable sorrow from which its beauty chiefly came.
The other had now achieved a unity of its own, but it was loud and vain, and endlessly repeated, and it had little harmony, but rather a clamorous unison, as of many trumpets braying upon a few notes. Eru arose a third time, and his face was terrible to behold. Then he raised up both his hands, and in one chord, deeper than the abyss, higher than the firmament, piercing as the light of the eye of Iliovator, the music ceased. Then Eru spoke, and he said, "Mighty are the Ainur, and mightiest among them is Melkor, but that he may know, and all of the Ainur, that I am Iliovator, those things that ye have sung, I will show them forth, that ye may see what ye have done. And thou, Melkor, shalt see that no theme may be played that hath not its uttermost source in me, nor can any alter the music in my despite. For he that attempteth this shall prove but mine instrument in the devising of things more wonderful, for which he himself had not imagined."
The Ainur were afraid, and Melkor was filled with shame and anger. Eru then arose and flew past the Ainur and the fair regions that were made for them into the void. With the Ainur following, Eru stopped and said, "Behold your music!" And he showed them a vision, giving to them sight where before was only hearing. And they saw a world that was globed amid the void, and it was sustained there, but was not of it. As they drew closer, the history of the world flashed in their minds, and they saw all that was and would ever be. Eru said again, "Behold your music, this is your minstrelsy, and each of you shall find contained herein, amid the design that I set before you, all those things which it may seem that he himself devised or added. And thou, Melkor, wilt discover all the secret thoughts of thy mind, and wilt perceive that they are but a part of the whole and tributary to its glory.
The Ainur know much of what was and is and what will be, and few things are unseen by them. Yet some things there are that they cannot see. They saw of the coming of the children of Eru, the elves and men, the firstborn and the followers, and all of the beauty of this world, named Arda by the Ainur. In this vision, many of the mighty among them bent all of their thoughts and desires into the new paradise. Melkor, being one of the first to desire to go down into the new world, wished to control the turmoils of the heat and cold that had come to pass through him. But envying the children of Eru for the promises endowed to them, he wished to make of them subject and servants, and to be called Lord and Master over all souls.
Now to water had Ulmo turned his thoughts, and of all most deeply was he instructed by Eru in music. But of the airs and winds Manwe had most pondered, who is the noblest of the Ainur. Of the fabric of earth had Yule thought, and thoughts of darkness and solitude with the sharp, bitter, cold, and burning heat were the thoughts of Melkor. Eru called to them and said, I know the desire of your minds, and what ye have seen should verily be, not only in your thoughts, but even as ye yourselves are, and yet other. Therefore I say, Ia! Let these things be, and I will send forth into the void the flame imperishable, and it shall be at the heart of the world, and the world shall be, and those of yours that will may go down into it. From Eru came a great light, and this light traveled into the void and darkness, and far off a light shined bright, as if it were a cloud with a living heart of flame. Ea, the world that is, was created.
Thus it came to pass that of the Ainur some stayed with Eru, and others traveled to Arda. But those who traveled to Arda would be bounded in the world to be within it until the end of time, so that they are its life and it is theirs. Therefore they are named the Valar, ever to be known as the powers of the world.